Hello, my name is Bima and I'm in High School Trenggalek, 11th grade, Ijo. So this house rigor started off crossing international reform to address policy abuse and misconduct rather than defining the policy. We all know that the massive demonstration of George Floyd issue with this kind of issue has become a treatment for the government of policy itself. Police office has done something wrong to the victim, to George F, which is bad for society, for just from society itself and police person itself. And the problem is the society hasn't trust anymore for a police itself, because they already know about what the police did for George Floyd itself, which is it's bad for society, for society mindset itself. So that we want defining a police officer, then international institutional reform to address police abuse. How to rule like what defining that means? It means we must allocate fund from police to another agency like social agency like education and anything else. So how we try to define it itself? So we must stop funding to the police itself. We must stop, because we already know what the police did. We already know what the police did to some kind of like people and outside there. It's like some victims, just like a George Floyd and anything else, which is we will not trust anymore to the police. If we are funding them, it's just kind of like useless, because we don't have some kind of good trust for the police itself, because we are not trust anymore. I have the alternative. We must separate system for society itself. There is no police but change like it's sorted by work by society itself. So the sovereignty is based on every society itself, both so that they are defending so lot of people that knows some like good security for having a life itself, because that security in the nation itself. I have to report. Government says that defining can make situation become worse, because it's reducing policy, which is if reducing policy can make it bad. It can create some kind of like increase some kind of like increase some cases, some kind of high crime in some place and anything else, and just this happening and else it doesn't hurt black people and else. But in my side, I want to prove it that your argument, that government argument is wrong. The first, government say want to differ in policy, which is I'm not agree with that, because if creating some security system with some requirement like differs, it's like there is some kind of Asian police, there's kind of like a white police, black police, and anything else. It is unfair for people who really have some kind of like a talent to be a security man, just like a police and anything else. It can some kind of like it's some kind of like unfair to them to kind of realize their dream about to be in security itself. The second is, even it is a reducing policy and make a problem in society, I have another plan which is also good for the society itself, with defining the policy, defining for the policy government itself. Come to my argument. I have two arguments that. First, why defining is important, and the second is how if defining can create good ecosystem for all society itself. Come to my first argument. Why defining is important? Because funding needs a time. Funding needs money, which they must work to get the money itself. They must kind of like do something to get some money. If they already know what policy did to them, what policy did to society itself, we already know that the policy person is done. Why you still fund them? Why you still some kind of like fund something that you can't get the impact of? You get the fund itself, the security itself. You better give your money for another cover against this, which it's going to be impact on you. Just like education, you can get education. It's just like a social. You can get some kind of like quarantine of social itself. Anything else. Maybe you better defunding of the policy itself, because I mean, the policy personnel is already bad. When you must kind of like pushing yourself to be a good, because in society itself, there's some kind of like some kind of mindset of if the policy is bad, when you must keep pushing, it all. So that the funding is really important. Remember that the choice of society is lost. Come to my second argument: how we the funding can create a good ecosystem for all. I have the problem. Two problems. The first, there is a choice for society. There's example for policies from society itself, because because they are lost and kind of like lost and kind of like trust from society itself. So that the only way they must be funding itself. They must relocate the money for the other some kind of like social agencies. It's like another government agency itself. And the second is justice in society can be asked, because we already know what policy did in society itself, and we already know what the impact for the society, such as like kind of like social issue and us. So that society keep thinking like, how can I get the justice if some kind of some police cannot get some kind of cannot guarantee the people about justice, and it can make some kind of like violence to society itself, which is bad for society. How we try to solve it? I have some kind of like I have some kind of like some kind of proposal to solve that. We want a security based on society itself, so that there is no police. There is no police itself, because in every society itself, it lead by some kind of like security based on society itself. It's like Indonesia said, it's just complicating us, because it's saying that the purpose of security based on society is same, just like give some security by people itself, but with no some kind of like policy implementing us, because so that the funding some kind of like a policy, it is not some kind of like have some barrier some for society itself to get the security. There's the other way to get the security is by create some kind of like security based on society, which in this security based on society everyone can something like everyone can try to protect their society itself. There is some kind of like a families with the others, because they must protect the society, so that they must be finding they must give some kind of security for society itself. So that is my argument, and thank you very much.